So I was scrolling on Instagram the other day looking for funny comments and otherwise completely unfunny reels when I stumbled into this one video where the guy asked his fans to name one fictional character they'd marry and have kids with. The comments were about what you'd expect from Instagram, just people telling jokes, trying to be funny. Are you a fictional character? Or that would be my girlfriend, get it? Because she's not real. One gentleman out there wasn't about those say me, lame, self-deprecating jokes. He just, full confidence, posted a gif of Chun-Li from Street Fighter without any words and left it there. And I'll tell you, the gesture position of this chubby Indian guy in his profile picture next to Chun-Li, it was pretty amusing. Like, goddamn man, I respect your confidence. But that actually got me thinking, is there a way to experience getting rejected by your favorite Street Fighter character? There aren't any Street Fighter dating games as far as I know. Only SNK has one, I heard. So, unless you're gonna make your favorite Street Fighter character in The Sims 4 or that new Nintendo game, there is no way to experience getting rejected by them. Unless some depraved artist out there decides to make a video, go through every single character, and rank them scientifically on a tier list to determine how hard they'll reject you. But unless someone does that, there is no way to know. So guess what we're going to be doing today? Yep, this handy tier list made by user Finyu in all caps is pretty good. It has all the playable Street Fighter characters ignoring EX, which is a shame, actually like the games. And some playable characters like Lee Fen I really wanted to talk about, but hey, I'm too lazy to make my own tier list. This guy made his, let's use it, alright? And obviously this is a school project, we're not grading students here, so we're gonna do away with the S to F ranking and replace it with this. These tiers are very self-explanatory, reasonable chance for characters you have a reasonable chance with, some hoops to jump through like their status, their personalities, and the rest are fairly obvious, I think. So let's start with Chun-Li. What's there to say about her? I mean, Chun-Li, literally everybody knows her and loves her. She's said to be the strongest woman in the world in canon. But you'll see this actually not true at all once you get to some of those Nick characters. Despite her status as the strongest human kung fu master and an Interpol legend, Chun-Li is surprisingly humble, like down-to-earth, amicable. I mean, no matter how hideous beyond comprehension you make your avatar, John Street Fighter in 6, no matter how ugly he is, Chun-Li would still just treat him the same, take him under her wing. Everything is cool, you know, she's humble, especially with her status in mind. But there are hundreds of versions of Chun-Li, so I guess this one is nicer than others. I mean, SNK vs Capcom's Chun-Li is a motherfucker. She's just some cop going around arresting people, sometimes literally for just dressing weird, which is funny considering her colleagues are Cammy and Zangief. They're only dressed in Speedos and swimsuits, and she doesn't care. She's arresting Tessa for dressing as a witch. And yeah, I know this version of the character is not canon, but what is canon? Anyway, I mean, Chun-Li in canon is supposed to be only pushing 40. That doesn't make any sense, because she was in her prime back in the Alpha games, which can actually take place in the 80s. So Chun-Li has been in her prime all these years. Obviously, people did the math. She's supposed to be pushing 60 by now, which is not the case looking at her. So again, what's scanning is a relative. So get in mind, there are truly an infinite amounts of Chun-Li out there. You have the main series 1, the Alpha, Third Strike, 6. But there are also Teacher Chun-Li, SWAT Team Chun-Li, Combat 6 Chun-Li, Wedding Dress Chun-Li, Morgan Chun-Li, truly an ungodly amount of Chun-Lis. But think about only the main one from the latest game. Yeah, she's pretty damn cool, but still too next level. If you're gonna convince me that the proclaimed strongest woman in the world would be interested in dating you, they're gonna need some seriously good factory fiction, and you'll definitely need to be artistic, but hey, that's fine. Now my girl Cammy, she's easily, in my opinion at least, the most interesting Street Fighter character out there. And the reason is because her character has kind of went a huge shift. If you look at all the depictions of Cammy, even in her time as like this brainwashed super soldier doll, she was still fairly silly. I don't even know what the word for it is. Moving forward, it seemed like they wanted to change that, though that you could probably guess it doesn't take a fucking genius to look at the failure of Third Strike back in the day when it was actually released. Yes, even though now Street Fighter 3 is an absolute masterpiece, back then a lot of people didn't like it. And for that, to revive Street Fighter, they kind of had to go back to what worked, which was the Alpha series. And what did the Alpha series focus on? That's right, the dolls, Cammy, all this good stuff. So going back to that, it seemed like they wanted to make Cammy like a proper revenge-driven character. Cammy is a full-on revenge-driven character in 4 and 5, which is what, isn't this like a decade of Street Fighter? And with the Alpha series in mind, for like a full decade, every time we see Cammy, she's always about the dolls. Oh, my sisters, I have to save my sisters, bro. Which is a little weird, because wasn't there like a whole plot point about her just moving on and finding this new ragtag family with the Delta Red forces? Where did that go? I don't know. It's now all about her sisters. And DiCaprio? What did any of that come from? So, this, in my opinion, a bit like ruined Cammy's character. For a while, like most newcomers to Street Fighter think that she's this no-nonsense robotic. Almost forgot. It's funny because in her time as a free character, she is more robotic and, mission-driven than her time as an actual, just a drawn for and Bison, right? But I think we can all agree that by 5, we are all sick of the dolls plot. It reached the point with the Peter incidents. So, thankfully, now in Street Fighter 6, we fully moved on from the dolls plot, and Cammy's character is slowly regaining her silliness back. But don't misunderstand, I don't hate serious Cammy. In fact, I think all these years, this entire, almost a decade of Street Fighter, where Cammy is this driven character with a purpose, actually contribute to her being more respected than her contemporaries. I mean, there is this Mortal Kombat fan who recently made this video where he looked at Street Fighter characters and gave his perspective as an outsider. And for Cammy, he was like, she's, in Mortal Kombat, we have our own army woman blonde. Fucking joke. Nobody takes her seriously. Cammy is different, like a more proper, full-fleshed character. But fuck me, man. Looking at her, had this list, I don't even know where to place her. And I could legitimately just put Cammy here or he. I don't know where she goes. Honest, I'll just settle in on some hopes to jump through. It definitely... What I think they settled on is, okay, Cammy is this really nice, quirky girl, but she has a very, hard stone shell on, and she likes cats and she likes cutting candy and all that, but she doesn't, let her colleagues see that side of her. So I think this is what the angle they tried to go with for Cammy. You could legitimately, in the comments, convince me that she's in the no chance tier. I'd be completely open to that. A character who is not complicated at all is Sakura. I'm gonna be honest, I was a Sakura hater back in the day. I did not understand what, people even found appealing about her to begin with. I didn't find her annoying, I just found her kind of extremely generic. But after that actually, getting into the character, especially Street Fighter 5, I finally got it, okay? Now, this applicable for Cammy too, but this actually could be an entire video and song, just how Street Fighter character designs kind of went downhill the moment the series entered its 3D era. Cammy specifically, I know we're supposed to have finished talking about Cammy, but just bear with me. Cammy's supposed to have, in the old glorious artwork during the Alpha era, that was depicted with a larger forehead and lips, which looked very cute. She has a unique look to her. But then they tried to translate that into, 4 and onward. And just looks kind of bad. In 4, she looks like an android. In 5, she looks kind of badly modeled, almost. They tried to give her, the lips and the forehead just doesn't look good. And in 5, they kind of gave up entirely, made her just the, boom, default white woman, and gave her, she's always making that stupid duck face. Look, the only way they could, make up for her old design Sakura has suffered from a similar thing. Street Fighter V Sakura, this is just not Sakura. This is just like a Overwatch character, nothing Street Fighter about her at all. But it does make up for it with her actual story mode. Now think back to how you discovered Street Fighter, and more importantly, where were you in the world when you discovered Street Fighter? I know what I was. I was a kid in school, just learning about the game, learning about fighting games, and just falling in love with the franchise, just playing at the arcades. Well, where's Sakura when we first see her? Well, she's this schoolgirl, also learning about street fighting in universe through Ryu and all the other characters. She wants to become a street fighter, and she also loves gaming at the arcade. Alright, now think to the last time we see Sakura. She's called grown up. She's working part-time. No, I can't become a street fighter forever. I'll eventually need to get married and have a job and maybe even go to college. I don't know. Which is exactly where we are right now. So you see what I'm saying here? Sakura grew up with us. She is the Street Fighter fan in the game, which easily makes her the most based and amazing Street Fighter character of all time. Like, this character is a mirror to the player in universe, you know, like a positive melody that that obviously you could depict the Street Fighter fan in much more negative ways. But that's, you know, for like her character concept. What's her personality actually like? Well, from everything we saw, she's very nice. She's very nice, she's proper, she's spocky, and she's got that youthful vigor, and she's a tomboy, and everybody loves her, and everybody loves soccer, and there's really nothing more to think. But don't go thinking she's soft or something. You know, her master is Dan, who's a bit of, obviously, a joke character, but he's still her master in canon, and from what we saw in 4, she's supposed to respect him highly, or at least take him seriously, to the point that he's actually holding her back. It's actually implied to be crazy strong, but due to her shitty teacher, she can't go all out. Well, she figures this out in this pocket fighter scene, and sends Dan a letter calling him a retard to his face. Now, Street Fighter has a shit ton of characters, some of them more popular than others, but make no mistake, every character in Street Fighter has a cult. There's the cult of Necro, even a cult of Q. The cult of Sean, though, is especially baffling because they are calling him simply the Ken Sakura. You know what I mean? Since Sakura is this huge, real fangirl, Sean is also a fanboy, but for kids, so they should meet. Sakura and Sean should meet. They should, you know, be in the same game. There is all this potential. Now, this is obviously stupid because Capcom just doesn't think that way. I mean, if they thought that way, they would have given Sakura something with Karin, who's the actual rival, but they never did. So what makes you think they'll bring back Sean for this? And Sean, poor him, like, I do like him, but he's literally just worse than. Not as funny, probably even worse to actually play. And the last time we saw Dan, he's obviously a proper character in Street Fighter V, and make no mistake, he will definitely be getting added in 6. What is the last time we saw Sean? He was getting molested by his fucking sister, or cousin, or whatever Laura is supposed to be to him. I want you to think about logically. Sakura called Dan, who's her master, and better Sean, the slur for the disabled and the mentally infirm. Look at Sean, and then look at Sakura. I don't want to know how badly she'll get the stream taken down. I do not trust her loose tongue with slurs around my boy, okay? So, no, Sakura and Sean should definitely not be meeting in any Street Fighter game. Now, where do we actually find the character? Well, despite everything I said, Sakura is an easier reasonable chance. She's literally just a girl that is nothing like super special going on with her. She's just a lovable tomboy, and she's nowhere near Army Woman or Mrs. Strongest Woman in the World, which is a nice segue for Karen Kanzik. Well, in canon, she is the... It's some Japanese word I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce, and the Ogio-sama, like basically this noble woman, like rich girl archetype. Not really just rich, royal thing, you know what I mean? From what I remember, she owns as much land as, like, the entirety of Antarctica, like North America or some shit. Basically, she's the richest woman in the world. And Street Fighter is no Baki. In the world of Street Fighter, even though people can grow strong enough to fucking sense deities through the fabric of dimensions and destroy cars with their fists, this is not Maki. Just being strong is not enough to protect you from a fighter jets shooting you down, or the Secret Service. From everything we saw, being physical martial arts is not enough to make you basically impossible to defeat, except for, some cases. Without being said, no way would Kenjiki lose against Chun-Li if she's going all out. I'm talking with all her resources, with all her money, with all her infinite influence. This base is like the fucking Devin Weston of Street Fighter. Ain't no way she's losing against Chun-Li. Karen has the best trainers money could buy. Karen is a great candidate for the actual strongest female character in all of Street Fighter. Poor Candid, though, she's probably not coming back in 6. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I actually like her a lot. But she's kind of stuck in the last way we actually saw her, which is surprisingly amicable. Yeah, you think Karen, being objectively the richest woman in the world, and, one of the most powerful easily, you think that would make her an easy no chance, right? Well, no, she's fairly warm, especially compared to her status. In Street Fighter V, which again is the last time we actually see her, Bertie, this fat fuck who's like disgusting, everybody hates him because he's a loser. He drops into her, like in the middle of her dinner or something in the Kansas estate. Instead of just ordering him to be killed and thrown somewhere in the Mexico desert, she actually just has a sparring match with him. After determining he's strong enough, she's like, yeah man, you're not like a job here, we could use like another night shift security guard or something. She's actually not that bitchy at all. She's actually fairly nice and amicable. It's still to next level, though I'm not putting her anywhere lower than to next level. In fact, probably being generous here. And so, again, you'll need some serious fanfiction to convince me that the richest woman in the world in Street Fighter would somehow go with your lame ass. We have Rose. I'm gonna be a little with you, I don't know anything about Rose. She's this Italian MILF magic user. Oh, and she does give Carly Aaron for her money. She's one of those characters who would completely just spit in the face that Chun-Li is the strongest woman in the world. No way, Jose, with rounds around, you're not the strongest woman in the world. But saying that, I actually don't know what Rose even does. All I remember is her being almost kidnapped by M. Bison or something. She and M. Bison do have like a long history together. But aside from that, I literally don't know anything about Rose. She's just Lisa from JoJo, but as a Street Fighter character. And in fact, I think Rose actually came later. Like, this is as the original. City Fire just took her general concept to make the... they're both even Italian. So yeah, also she trained, what's her name? Mina, the Egyptian girl, she trained her into fortune-telling, all this good stuff. So yeah, this is a Rose. Probably to next level, considering that she's easily one of the most powerful female characters in canon. Sure, why not? Anyways, how about a character that I actually do know a lot about and do, fairly care about, is Rambo Mika. Now, everybody loves Rambo Mika. A huge pair of personalities, because she's easy the most honest Street Fighter character ever. She's just like cheerful, hot. She's all about putting a good match, a good wrestling match for all her fans. And all in all, she is an easy some hoops to jump through. Why not reasonable chance? Think about dating a wrestler. That's really all you have to say. She's a fucking gristler, dude. Like, just realistically think about it. Yeah, her loud and, boisterous personality is amazing, all that. I personally would get annoyed of all that after a while. So yeah, I think some host to jump through is fairly reasonable for our girl. Moving on, we have Maki. Now with Maki, does anyone even know who the fuck Maki is? Well, definitely not, because if you fuckers did know who Maki is, then we'd have actually gotten her in Street Fighter 6 instead of Kimberly. Maki is amazing. She's this Japanese delinquent ninja girl who dyes her head blonde, is very proud of her hair and stuff, and she's basically just female guy, a guy with tits. In fact, guy with tits is so accurate of a description for Maki that in one Street Fighter collaboration, the vampire Dimitri from Vampire Savior, who has a very cool move called Midnight Bliss that he uses to turn female characters into an Easter egg or a reference before sucking their blood off. But for male characters, what he does is he first turns them female, amusingly enough, before sucking their blood. I guess vampires just have if you suck a guy's blood, you're gay role, or something, right? So, what does he do with Guy? He turns him into Maki's body, but with Guy's head attached. So, Maki is literally just Guy, but with tits. All in all, she's just an angry tomboy with, delinquency issues or something. Get through her fucking attitude, and you'll be just perfect, right? Ingrid. What to say about Ingrid? You know what I said earlier about the whole every sci-fi character, no matter how ridiculous as to me they are, they do have a cult? Well, I was a part of the Ingrid cult, and for the longest time, I felt, this is what the character will forever be. Obscure piece of Street Fighter history only appearing in one offshoot of a Street Fighter game that people actually like, and that's it. In general, people don't like Ingrid. I accepted it. I'm just, a weirdo in that case. But recently, I can't even describe to you the level of happiness I felt being vindicated, watching all these former England haters jerking off to her fucking game over animation because, come on, look at it. They knew what they were doing, right? It's absolutely cathartic. Seeing Ingrid being added to Street Fighter made me so goddamn happy. My girl is back. Yes, her new design does look fucking odd, but I'm look at her, dude. She's fucking thick at least. At least she's taken it. And yes, he does look kind of ridiculous with the fucking huge, humongous, doll eyes, but whatever. Let's talk about her personality. And the problem is, in Street Fighter 6, they themselves acknowledge that England doesn't really have a set personality, and in Canada, it is explained as her being this destined ultimate god creature, having to basically appeal to mortals, so her personality will literally change based on fan reception in the real world, outside of the game. Which is really interesting. England is fairly amicable and nice. It's actually kind of I'm split about it, because on one hand, she's a no chance considering that she treats everything around her every rounder like an NPC, like a Terran, basically. But on the other hand, she is aware of the player, and she is aware of her status as this video game character. I'm a master of the code of this program. So this is a bit of a Monica from DDLC type situation, where she's directly more interested in the player compared to the other game character. Where does Ingrid go? Honestly, dude, just looking at her, looking at the way she acts, looking at how she addresses her fans, and the whole nice sponsored but trivia thing, she's honestly just a 2 next level. Yeah, she's surprisingly... So far, you're probably thinking, damn, some of these characters are really easy. They're not easy. No, hell no. That's Charlie. Next level is this one, the equivalent of celebrities or daughters of rich people, right? Some moves just to jump through is obviously, will modify status, like soldiers, wrestlers, weird delinquent clans of ninja. And only Shakura has been so far the only average girl. That's this. In the real world, you can get just an average girl. So it is not being too easy or anything. You probably think, well, what is that rejection so far? Well, don't worry, we're getting into it. With the 2 dolls, no chance for both of them. These 2 are brainwashed under Bison as far as, this appearance is concerned, and they are definitely not looking for any romantic getaways anytime soon. But you know who is openly thirsty as shit, just like me right now? My mouth is getting dry. Aboki. Aboki is so fucking thirsty, it's actually ridiculous. If you don't know, Aboki is canonically the weakest female character. Like, probably only children are, like, actually weaker than her. How weak is she? Well, when Mr. Seth, after he defeats her, he takes all of her, like, movesets to, like, look through them and just see if she's worthy of having anything stolen from... Guess what he determined? Well, she has determined that Aboki is so useless, none of her moves will ever be useful to him. He told her, you're an embarrassment to ninjas everywhere, and you should just go kill yourself. However, in the actual game, she is fairly good, not good enough to be viable for competitive. Definitely annoying to be, you know, just liked by normies. So despite being this support, like, she's supposed to be a black sheep, right? Economically pretty weak, the casuals don't play her, so who the hell appreciates her? Well, apparently everyone, because Arbuki was just straight up added in every Street Fighter thing ever, like every subsequent game. Street Fighter Third Strike, she was added in the game, she appeared in 4, but she was later added to 5. She appeared in fucking Pocket Fighters. She is definitely getting added in 6, 100%. Everybody love Aboki, apparently. And, I actually can't tell you why. I mean, okay, in Third Strike, she's fucking thick as hell. In 4, she's benign, and in 5, she just looks kind of weird and ugly. But, again, this is not her fault. This is a much bigger discussion about the issue with Street Fighter character design and how it got worse as they went along, especially when they want for a more 3D realistic look. And with the Aboki, looks-wise, she, you know, give me third cycle Aboki, perfect. But anything else is just kind of whatever. But that's how I'd feel about her. How would she actually feel about me and, you know, John Street Fighter mainly? Honestly, a reasonable chance. You have a reasonable chance of bagging Aboki again. She's like the opposite of, we'll get to her soon, Makoto. If, Makoto, like, Aboki is just this girl born into the status of, like, this ninja clan village, and she's basically being asked by everyone around her to continue that legacy. But she personally is just interested in, like, fashion gossip and boys. She's just wants to live a normal life. But anyways, moving on to the other Third Strike lady, Alina. Alina is by far one of the nicest, most, like, approachable, spiritual, nice, like, amicable, whatever, like, good adjective you could think of, throw it at Alina. Alina is just so nice, man, and she's really damn hot. Like, she, to me, and a lot of people actually, I heard of this sentiment, Alina and Mika basically compete for the biggest booty in the game. I'd say Alina is an easy, some hoops to jump through. What's the hoop here exactly? She is a Kenyan princess. So if you're willing to move from wherever you're living right now to Kenya, specifically become a, you know, figure of the royal family there, this is some pretty big hope you have to jump through, man. I don't know what to tell you. But personality-wise, despite her status as a, you know, royalty, she is very nice. She is very, you know, just cute, all about good vibes, and her little, like, you know, the Sims 4, there are these, like, attributes and, like, aspirations, like milestones of life. One of these adds automatically Alina's, which is a friend of the world. She is literally just selected the friend of the world aspiration from the Sims 4. So that gives you any idea why I put her in some hopes to jump through. Makoto. Now, Makoto, on the surface, she's very angry. Yes, she's very, you know, uptight. She's angry because her dojo is not successful, or rather her dad's dojo, her grandpa, actually don't know, and she just wants that goddamn Street Fighter to just give my girl that, okay? Add Makoto into Street Fighter 6. Just do that, please, for the love of God. Just give her what she wants. Make her like a successful dojo master. Because in every game, she just wants that and she never gets it. And she's always angry. So we really need to see a Makoto actually achieve that. And Makoto, God bless her, even though Her dojo is in ruins. She has to, like, alone fix it, all completely by herself. This beautiful, serene place. Despite all of that, she still has, like, a smile on her face. Like, you know, she takes it all in stride. She's a hardworking lady, and everybody loves McCarthy. Literally, in canon, in, like, the canon of Street Fighter, there is something, like, I remember a line about how every single character encourages keep going. Like, everybody got your back, girl. Go for it, you know what I mean? She's the complete opposite of Ibuko, as Ibuko is born to this martial artist, like a ninja thing. She doesn't care about it, she just wants a normal life. Makavi is like, fuck having a normal life. I want to be this. I want to keep the legacy of my family and martial arts. Amazing character. Very Bucky-esque with that, you know, I want to uphold the sanctity of martial arts or something. But, well, now we are adding Makoto, because all like Ibuki, who is trying to live a normal life but can't. So far, at least, Makoto has been trying to move on to some hopes to jump through, you know, become a master, become something. But nope, she's really just another girl. DiCaprio, another adult. She goes into the no chance, maybe, probably don't want you if you're thinking about 3 DiCaprio, but it's clearly, like, you know, under the control of Vice and DiCaprio, so probably no chance to Spirit in here. She's like, just no way. Another character with no way is Shep, even though Shep is technically a guy. I mean, look at him, right? No chance. Just look at this fucking guy. This is a crazy person. This character fucking lost his shit by the last time we saw. It's just completely done. Another character has also lost its shit is Jory. Jerry is surprisingly... She probably thinks she's a probably don't want you, but at least she's really just too next level. And too next level is too, you know, important in the world, too wealthy, too powerful. I mean, a literal goddess. Crazy. This is what Jory is. She's just too next level in that she's a bit, she's a bit lost, you know? With that being said, she's not impossible. Jury is clearly just Ed Sunday. We shot all in Street Fighter 6, the way she fucking texts. I've never seen more shameless thirst. She's either is a glowy. She's a fucking CIA agent, glowy piece of shit. Run them over if you see them in the dark or whatever. The funny Skitzer guy says. But aside from all that, she's also a single mom. She's just trying to do what she believes is the right thing. Even though she's a gosh darn glowy. Is she at 2 next level? I mean, is she really? You think about it logically, she doesn't think I seem like it to the next level. Maybe she is. Maybe you probably don't want you, though. Is she married? Because she's like a single mom, we know that for sure, but she's probably not married, so let's just say she's 2 next level, okay? If you could write me a strong enough fanfiction to convince me that C-Fiber is actually this, you know, very easy, you know, like fucking... If you could do that, then yes, I could be convinced that she is just 2 next level. So far, just say she's probably don't want you. And, well, moving on, we have Poison. I don't know what's going on with Poison. Like, is she a probably don't want you? Is she to a next level? Probably just don't want you, no? I mean, she already has her boyfriend. They got a weird thing going on here. Moving forward, we have Colleen. Another great addition to the probably don't want you here. Colleen is constantly so obsessed with my boy right here, girl, that she thinks he's straight up a god. Like, she doesn't really think he's, like, her messiah, savior, a god, not like a lover, like many people, you know, imagined. She could have that going on. But even if that's the case, she's definitely one of those too married to my job people. So, probably don't want you, but I'm sorry. Laura, oh, now this one is fascinating, because Laura, she has molested her brother. She is the horniest Street Fighter character, bar none. I don't even know what she would go, to be honest. Probably don't want you to next level, some hopes to jump through. What is the hope here? Honestly, a reasonable chance. When you look at all of these girls, you have, in the probably don't want you, CIA agent, weird BDSM, wrestler, manager, leader of a gang. and Colin with the freaking Illuminati itself. What is Laura, really? She is really just some girl. So I think she goes here fairly, you know. Alright. Unlike Flack being with the whole, you know, Neo Shadow and all, definitely again with this too married to my job people. Unlike Lucia, Lucy is a fairly fun character. She's actually just some hoops to jump through. Just get through the fact that you're dating a police officer who hates cleaning and cooking. Yes, by the way, Lucia wants a stay-at-home husband who does the cooking and cleaning for her. Well, she goes on playing police officer. Definitely not a recipe for you to get cheated on. Maynard is some hoops to jump through. Okay. Consider that for Rose. Basically just Maynard except stronger in every way and literally her master. Maynard really is just some hoops to jump through. Just get through the fact that she's this fortune teller magical man, and you'd find a very cheery and amicable girl who believes in fate and all that stuff. Isn't one of those girls who could legitimately just get her to go on a date with you because you are compatible as far as your zodiac signs are concerned. We have Akira. She's really just some girl, so she goes in the reasonable chance here. Kimberly. Now, I have some strong thoughts about Kimberly. Mainly the fact that she wasted our ninja spot because every State Fighter game, maximum of 3, maybe 2 ninjas. A fairly lame to play, forgettable character, I'll say. Yeah, it's actually kind of sad. Also, a huge victim of the art style shift. Kimberly's artwork looks fine, but when you actually look at her in the game, she looks unfortunate. Jesus Christ. The modeling on her is so rough. It's a really huge bummer. Honestly, she's just a reasonable chance. She's just some girl. Okay, fair enough. She's on the same level as Marky. Simply put, Manon is just like diet Keratin. You know how Keratin is this extremely, you know, rich, powerful, influential figure? Manon just kind of like gets photographed a lot when she's in public by paparazzi, and that's it. She's really just some hopes to jump through. Marissa. Marissa is a very reasonable chance, even though status-wise, she is extremely, you know, like powerful, and her character is very fiery and all that, and she's like... Marissa is like the only true tomboy in Street Fighter. Like, there are a lot of tomboys I'm looking at here. Maki, Sakura, Ibuki, Makoto, Akira, and I think you speak most of these ladies are tomboys because depending on your definition of tomboys, all of these ladies could be, but none of these are the actual definition. A true tomboy is Marissa. I thought this was Alex wearing one of those pushing helmets to protect him from head injury. I did not know this was a new character, and, you know, a girl? Like, this is what a true tomboy looks like. Makoto is the closest second. Well, is she a reasonable chance? Think about now. She's probably some, hopefully, with the whole, you know, her physique thing. If we're considering the fact that Mika being a wrestler, a hope to jump through, we have to consider the fact that Melissa being this modern-day Sparta LARPer should also be a hoping you to jump through. Lily. She's really just some village girl, no? Maybe in some hopes to jump through. Lily is just some girl, except she has these ties with, you know, nature and wind magic, Native American, horseradish, so, you know, good for her. And finally, yep, that's it. This is the end of the list. Oh yeah, that is Arky. How could I forget? No chance. There is no chance in hell you are dating our Arky. Why? Because, what's his fucking name? I actually forgot what his name is from. What a forgettable... Fang! There he is, my boy. Fang is here. She's absolute fucking just in love with him, the slave, you know? There is no chance you're dating Arky, right? She's just gone. Which just leaves kind of sad and underwhelming. Probably don't want you. she already has someone else her mind, right? However, I actually lied to you because she's merely a two-next novel, yes, even though I did just say that, you know, oh, she's probably thinking of marrying this other dude. The same thing is applicable to Sakura, except this will never happen, and Mei will never be with Bog because, well, it's just not that marketable. She's way more marketable. These two are way more marketable separate than together, much like Sakura and Ryu, and again, I'll probably get to that in a future video, so stay tuned. But for Mei herself, yeah, man, I don't know what to tell you. Mei is just like Chanli. She's very powerful from a clan, except she has the added bonus of already having a man on her mind. You could just get into some arrangement, right? Like, okay, I get to, you know, we get to date, but if you finally, you know, get it together with Bug, we break it off. You know, now string is detached. A master with benefits type of a relationship should probably be down to that. She'd probably be thinking, all right, we get to do whatever we want, but only when Andy, my beloved, asks me finally to, you know, ask for my hand in marriage, which will totally happen, never fucking happening. And there you go, the Street Fighter rejection tier list. As you can see, it's fairly predictable, right? The extremely powerful ladies are in the middle, the villains are at the bottom, and the more low tier, you could say, in canon low tier, not in actual gameplay or anything, the low tier ones are at the top. So this was a bit of a shit video.